What is up, everybody? Welcome to Perspective Gaming. I'm your host, Flame078, logging in from the real world to give you perspective. Or more specifically, getting perspective. This video series tackles something that's been on my mind, and I spell out my takes, and then afterwards we have a discussion to better understand ourselves. Today's topic, let's talk about live services. Sony did what? Wow, holy crap, after months and months about talking about this actually happens. This video was not even supposed to happen today, guys. I had to change everything up. The video that I was working on this week, well, I'll put it for next week. But now we have to talk about the big change. Sony has changed their mind, and now crossplay is a thing for Fortnite. Holy crap, that is exciting. My god. Fortnite is the biggest game in town with literally everything right going for it. I don't care where you land on the game, specifically love it or hate it, it does not matter. Props must be given to Fortnite and the team down at Epic for making such a breakthrough. Now, no matter what platform, you can play Fortnite with everyone. And I know haters are gonna say like, wow, a trash game gets crossplay, what the hell, big deal. But here's the thing, this was never about just Fortnite. For a lot of people, this was something more. For me, this was something more. I made a video 2 weeks ago about my decision to leave Sony. Yeah, that video right there. One of my highest viewed videos. Crossplay is about the gaming landscape and how it should be. Now, that being said, that video was about a couple weeks now. To follow up on that, you might be asking, have I changed my decision? Well, I don't want to really get into it right here because this is not what this video is about. But TLDR, no. I am not changing my decision on what I discussed about in that video. Sony just allowed this for one game. Nothing I read states that they are 100% committed like Microsoft or Nintendo. This apparently is a beta. So, in other words, we know you bitched at us a lot. We don't like this, but to shut you up, here you go. Yeah, that was my imitation of the Sony CEO. My bad. But anyways, there is no guarantee that this will stick for the next generation where this is actually going to matter and count. That aside, so what have we achieved here? We have proved that crossplay is achievable, that we are not limited by software or hardware. It is not a pipe dream anymore, and people who always wanted this now realize it is real. That is where we are today. That is what this symbolizes, and that's what we've known for the longest time now, that this was a thing that we can do. We just needed our companies and our publishers to stop being dicks about it. But now, where do we go from here? Well, before we get to that, we need to understand what things were achieved to make this a reality and what things need to be at the very core of this being the setting norm for the gaming industry. What has Epic Games solved to make this a reality? Let's start with something that may not occur to everyone, the servers. Fortnite runs on its own servers, which means the gameplay experience is stable. Now, this sounds weird and, well, sounds like a weird hurdle to overcome, but here's the thing. Within recent years and in this generation, games to this day still do not release with dedicated servers, whether it be for money or to cut costs, but not all multiplayer games are coming out with dedicated servers, and that is a problem. And the reason it matters is because the other way to have multiplayer games is to have your platform host the game. This was how early multiplayer games worked. A computer would be the server to run the game and would be responsible for the connections. And gamers who have experienced issues with that kind of model understand very well why this is a big thing. Games would lag, hosts would disconnect, which would leave the game or you have to wait for a new host to be found. Lots of problems happen when there's not dedicated servers. Now, let's take a game like Fortnite that has everything right now. Imagine your gameplay experience as follows. You squad up with your friends. PC, Xbox, PS4, and a mobile. 4 of you, 4 different platforms. Because of this setup, Fortnite automatically makes sure that everyone is in this pool to get this game together, which means you're going to have other mobile, PS4, and PC, Xbox players. When it comes to set up the game, one of those players has to be the host. Guess what would happen if, say, the guy playing on the Note 9 becomes the server for this game? Imagine how crappy of an experience that's going to be. And sure, as a developer, I understand you can probably make that more selective and ensure that the host has certain requirements to it. But code like that is messy and it's complicated and it makes things a little unmanageable. Servers just make sense. Servers are a crucial foundation for a cross-platform title. Period. Crossplay is great and I don't see a problem with it, but just because it is good and amazing and a win for everyone does not mean it should be enforced or a standard when matchups occur. One thing that Fortnite is doing great is that it is a choice. Unless you match yourself with someone on a different platform, I don't remember if you can toggle that setting within yourself, you will by default play with your own platform. If you're on Xbox, you'll play with Xbox players, and you play PS4, you play with PS4, PC, mobile. Crossplay has never, to me at least, been about making sure I always get to play with an Xbox player or a Switch player or whatever. It has always been that, man, I wish I could play with my Xbox friend right now. We both have the same game. We can't play. I want to specify it is a choice of when I want to enable crossplay. Other than that, then I really don't care. Though there are benefits to having a unified player base. A pool where everyone is put in no matter where they're playing increases queue times and allows for game player base to be stable and allows it to grow very easily. The issue that some people might have, and some arguments will be made for it, is that if you're auto grouped right away, then people are not going to like the fact that a console player is playing with PC player. We're not going to discuss about the pros and cons of that, but we all know that PC players have an advantage. So obviously you would not want to be forced and grouped up on that. That's why it has to be a choice. Though on that note though, unfortunately what kills that argument in my eyes is that Fortnite created the ability that now you're allowed to toggle and make sure you only play with people based on controller input. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link to an article down below and there's a little screenshot right here for it. Fortnite allows you to filter between people who are using mouse and keyboard and controller. With this ability to now determine who you play with matters and overrules the need to making sure platforms are always separate. But either way, crossplay has to be a choice and not a forced thing, just so things can run as smoothly as possible. The hurdle of figuring out how to manage friends. That was key. A problem solved by simply having the game own a system where everyone can manage their friends. You create an Epic account, and once that account is linked to your PS4, Xbox, or PC, boom, way to go. You had friends there, you can look them up wherever you want. There's no need for you to try to merge your Xbox friends list with your PSN friends list with your Steam friends list. None of that. It's the game manages and gives you a way to handle friend systems. This may seem trivial, but understand that the other options is to have Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and PC somehow figure out a global friend system. And right now, that seems a far stretch. No one's going to come together right away and create a unified friends group that everyone can be used. I mean, that would be ideal, but at the moment, that's not going to happen. So the fact that a game comes with its own way to manage friends is important. So in order to actually get crossplay to work, games have to implement this. So in summary, what a game needs to have good crossplay is dedicated servers, ensure that choice of platform is included and not forced upon, or again at the very least be able to filter between controller inputs. This is strictly just for fair play, and must have a system to manage a list of friends, so that way if I'm on PS4 I can easily find someone that I want to play with that's on Xbox or Nintendo Switch or PC. These things are just essential for a great, good crossplay experience, and that is what Fortnite has shown us. This is what is required. Understanding that is fundamental in order for us to establish good precedent for other games to follow and for the gaming industry to evolve in this direction. And this will be work. Game companies must be willing to do this. It is going to be costly to host servers, obviously. It's going to cost money to create systems of filtering. It's going to force idea of owning friends lists that sometimes games don't even bother doing that anymore because they have their consoles doing that for them. The game itself never has to worry about managing friends. But now game developers have to have all these questions answered, and that's going to be a commitment. I know this will make some game companies hesitate, but it's not something to fear. And the things required are not the end of the world. Not compared to the possibilities that this opens up. I can see a world where games have stable player bases, great queue times, and longer life cycles, all because this is real. But you must ask yourself, are there downsides? Well, as a gamer, there's really nothing. Like, you buy the platform you want and buy the games you want to play and play whoever you want to play with. Same as always, it's just a lot easier and barriers are dropped. As a business, there are downsides if you consider looking at them that way. But for this argument, I'll consider them downsides. And that is one question that I know they're going to be scared of. And this is specifically for the console makers. What will make people buy our hardware, right? That is what Sony was thinking all this time, as well as Microsoft was thinking in the past gen. That is probably what Nintendo will be thinking. What is going to make people buy our hardware, our consoles now? That is simple. That is your exclusives. In this modern age of console gaming, that is key. Consoles are bought for one and at most two reasons. The first and the biggest is price. Console gamers want a game, but they are not millionaires. To this day, a gamer will only have one console, or maybe a family will just buy one console and stick to that one console. All consumers at this day and age want a product that gives them what they want, right? If both A and B provide said product to consume, then guess what will win? The cheaper one, unless they're locked in for whatever reason to another. And I'm not going to get into exceptions because there are exceptions to everything, but for the most part, price will always win. For example, for myself, I bought a PS4 starting this gen because it was a lot cheaper than the Xbox, and it provided something initially that I wanted. I was also a broke college student, so that's all I could afford. Growing up, and now that I'm an adult, out of college, working, I have flexible income, and I'm still the type of gamer that wants to play the games that I want to play. I bought an Xbox the day before Halo 5 came out. Why? Because I wanted to play Halo 5. Simple as that. I knew I wanted to play this game. I'm not going to get it on what I have now. I'm going to go buy it. That's how that works. Plain and simple. Give a person a game they cannot play anywhere else and their hardware will sell. That is my belief. That is why I think this is so good. At this point in time, game consoles and gaming platforms are an ecosystem. What you're selling is an ecosystem. What does your package have that the other doesn't? What is PSN versus Xbox Live? Game Pass versus PlayStation Now? These are questions that people are asking themselves. Which ecosystem do I want to go into? And what is scary for companies about this is something that people tend to overlook. The whole idea of let's buy this console together so we can play, that argument goes out the window. And that's what like old heads of these companies were thinking. That is why they were so hesitant about crossplay, because they wanted you to force your friend to buy your console so that way they make more money. They're using you, or an example, us, to promote and get their hardware selling. By having crossplay a standard, we are removing that from their arsenal in terms of marketing, because now gamers will be saying, hey, I'm gonna get product A because I like the games on it, and then their friend's gonna go like, okay, well that's cool, I'm gonna get product B because I like the games on that better. And they'll both buy their separate game consoles and they will be happy and they'll be fun. But when multi-platform titles come out, they'll just buy it and they'll be able to play together. And that is what Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are probably scared of. We would have gained control of the market, and I'm sure as hell they are not happy about that. That being said though, I am still looking forward to what will happen next. We have to wait and see and make sure to push all multi-platform games to be cross-play. At this point, there is no reason anymore that any game going to be on multiple platforms to not allow crossplay between those platforms. It just has to be a standard, and we gotta hope that these companies continue letting this happen. And we have to continue the pressure to ensure that it's just not Fortnite doing this or just some weird indie games in the future do this. AAA titles have to be coming out in this fashion, and we have to make sure to do our part to get there. And that is the end of this video. Thank you for tuning in on this installment of Getting Perspective. These are just one man's thoughts, but now it is time I turn it over to you. What do you think the future holds? Can we get more games to follow Fortnite's lead? Can all multi-platform titles come out in this fashion? Is that too much of a pipe dream to think about? Are there any things that are actually a downside to crossplay that I have missed? Leave all this and more in the comment section down below, and let's hope and strive for perspective. If you enjoyed this video, please support this channel by giving me a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that, as it will let me know to give you more of this type of content. To stay updated on the latest and greatest over here, please hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you know when my next video drops. I release weekly videos such as gaming discussion videos, gameplays, and other gaming variety content. This is Perspective Gaming. I'm your host, Flame070, logging off for now, and until next time, adios.